Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Another hot show lined up for Nevada Newsmakers today. Representatives from the North and the South, and he's got the rundown.
Not every Republican agrees with Governor Gwynn's gross receipts tax. We talked to Lynn Hettrick, minority leader of the Assembly, and learn about his plan. Kara Kelly is president of the Las Vegas Chamber. As such, she's one of the most powerful women in the state. We'll chat with her also. Sam?
Thanks, Andy. And coming up on the pundit panel, Alfredo, Alonso, Jim Denton, Martha Gould, and Barbano. Can we do it all in 30 minutes? We'll find out coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
Today's lesson, another reason to take the Gold Rush Club Card Challenge. With the Gold Rush Card, you really have 3 cards in one. Use your cash back. You still keep your comps and drawing tickets. Use your comps. You still keep your cash and drawing tickets. And with your drawing tickets, you could win thousands in cold hard cash every week. And still keep your cash back and comps. Does your club add up? Graduate to the Gold Rush Players Club. It's the smart thing to do. The Gold Dust West, south on Keystone, east on 4th.
Folks, you must see what's new in Virginia City. Ride the V&T train all the way to Gold Hill. Explore a mine, if you dare. Visit Piper's Opera House. Watch the gunslingers shoot it up on C Street. Shop in unique stores. Listen to honky tonk in the historic saloons. You can't see it all in one day, so spend the night. Virginia City, where the West comes alive. Come up and spend the night in our hotels, motels, and RV park.
When he was just a young boy, Ken Dillon laid back, looked up at the stars, and thought to himself, hey, this house could use a roof. Today, Ken Dillon's D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal offers a complete line of Firestone roofing products for any type of roof, from commercial to industrial and residential. With a Firestone roof from D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal, what's overhead stays overhead. Call Ken Dillon's D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal today for a free estimate. Yes, the technology sure has changed, but after all these years, Ken still enjoys playing with houses.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the News 4 Broadcast Center, here's Sam Shad.
The Assembly Minority Leader is Lynn Hettrick, and the Democrats are saying, he's a Republican by the way, that he's proposed $270 million in cuts to the budget. He says, I don't think so.
Thank you for being here, Lynn.
Good morning, thank you.
All right, your proposal. Now, this is not a bill, though, is it?
It's in process of being drafted at this time.
Okay, your proposal is to make cuts in government and fund just the shortfall without add-ons that the governor's asked for. Is that correct?
Not quite. You're close. What we did was cut the increases, cut the amount of increase by $270 million. We did not cut maintenance or actual growth in programs. So you get the full roll-up for K-12 spending, you get the full roll-up for UCCSN. All of the increases that maintain the programs as they exist, we included. All we cut was the increase in spending, the added spending.
Okay, let me play the devil's advocate. The first thing that's going to, and by the way, you mentioned that that's the university system you're referring to.
Yes.
Right there. What people are going to say right off the bat is, well, there's going to be growth in the state. We're going to see an increase in need. Are we not going to be funding that along the way here?
No, Sam, that's what maintenance is. Maintenance says, what do you expect to have over the next 2 years? Put that into your program. Government is funded on a base budget, and then maintenance to maintain what you currently do. We funded all the maintenance. This is the addition of new programs. That's what we cut.
All right, now, in the Democratic press release that we got, They point out that you want to cut $2 million out of the Yucca Mountain Defense Fund, and that will really stop our fight against Yucca Mountain.
What we proposed, Andy, when we laid this out, what was said was no one can cut any more out of this budget. It's impossible. You can't possibly get below a certain figure, around $700 million. We went in and just went down the list and said, no, you can cut a lot of things out of this budget if you're willing to make hard decisions. But when you look at the entire plan, we funded, with the proposed taxes that we put in, $636 million in new taxes. We only put in $511 million in spending. We left room for whomever to add back whatever they thought they had to have within those two numbers to fund that. If indeed the legislature says, let's fund the $2 million for Yucca Mountain, plenty of room without adding any more tax. We set it up so we knew that the suggestions would not be satisfactory for every single individual in the legislature.
Now
we left the room to fund it.
Did you keep raises for teachers in?
Yes. Funded raises for teachers at 2%, $34 million. We added the signing bonuses. We gave them $25 per student over the biennium for books. We've done, I mean, the comments are always the same. It's spin. It's big spin. And the fact is we gave plenty.
Okay, let's talk about relationships here. Our esteemed colleague John Ralston is suggesting that there's almost disdain coming from the governor's office and his staff towards members of the legislature. Would you agree with that?
Well, you know, the governor has taken a very strong position supporting his budget and his proposals, and I understand that, and you get wed to that, and yes, there is some pride of authorship, I suppose. I wouldn't call it disdain, but clearly he is focused on his plan, and he's going to push forward with his plan. When you offer something else, there's not a great deal of interest in investigating it closely, in my opinion.
Now, the legislature is an equal branch of government to the governor, right? A lot of people are under the conception that the legislature works for the governor.
No.
That is not the case.
No, and we dislike the feeling that we're there just to be a rubber stamp, that because the executive branch sends over the budget as they're required to do by our Constitution, it doesn't mean that we have to just rubber stamp it. I mean, every one of us had to run for election, as did the governor. Every one of us campaigned on certain ideas and represent people in our district. They expect us to do more than just rubber stamp what's sent over.
Short-term taxes we're concerned about, only because I don't think there's going to be a terrorist attack, but I think SARS, with that plane being held in San Jose yesterday, that we could see this flu-like disease, people becoming fearful of that and perhaps staying home, deciding not to travel. What can we do about short-term taxes? How fast can you guys pass a short-term tax if we suddenly need it?
Well, you can pass it in a day. The problem is there are only one or two taxes that you collect on a monthly basis. Most of them are quarterly. So even if you had passed the short-term tax already, the only thing that had consensus was about $20 million, which isn't a huge amount of money in relation to the budget and the shortfall and that like, and we wouldn't have collected it until July. So it's not even going to be in this fiscal year. So given that, it comes down to, yes, you can make a statement, yes, anything you do is probably prudent, but is it really going to make a difference in the outcome of what's happening here? And the answer is not really.
Okay, last question. Gross receipts tax. Everybody associated with the governor and gaming is saying that that's still alive and kicking. Is it?
No, I made a comment in the news conference when we presented our budget that I hope not. I think it's detrimental to the state of Nevada. I know it's a philosophical issue, but I feel that it has a chilling effect. There are other taxes that grow faster and will grow with our economy better. And if you stop and look at the problem we have, our economy is growing faster than our tax base. That is what's wrong. If you choose a tax that will chill growth and is not going to grow as fast as our economy, you are guaranteeing we're going to be back here again. It's just a matter of time. So we don't think that's the way to go. We think we should pick the taxes that will grow with this economy, and we don't have to do this over and over.
Okay, Lynn Hettrick, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. And we'll be back on Nevada Newsmakers after this timeout.
CTX can help you negotiate your best deal. We've been your home team advantage for over a decade. Call us today because at CTX, local service still matters.
Yeah, with CTX, you're homeward bound.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo Free Checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. 7 award-winning dining choices. Experience the Atlantis Seafood Steakhouse tonight. Winner of Wine Spectator's Award of Excellence. The local's choice for food and fun, Atlantis.
Atlantis.
At Sushi Club, everybody's family. That's what makes dining here so much fun. The sushi is consistently better, the atmosphere is great, and the service is wonderful.
Welcome to the bigger and better Sushi Club. Come in for our delicious daily specials.
When you're talking sushi, you're talking Sushi Club in the Independence Square Shopping Center.
Walk into the Cactus Creek Bar and Grill at the Bonanza Casino, and you know you're in for a very special evening. Enjoy the southwestern atmosphere of some of the best gourmet food in Reno. It starts right here with Chef Bruce Norman and his talented staff. From buffalo T-bone to martini scampi and peppercorn duck. There's fine wine, specialty margaritas, and our pastry chefs create award-winning desserts. The Cactus Creek in the Bonanza Casino, 1 mile north of the university, where locals come to play.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
Cara Kelly is the president of the Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce and doesn't necessarily agree with the governor on the subject of gross receipts taxes.
Thank you for being with us today,
it's
Cara.
a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
The chamber has been accused by the governor of lying and not liking taxes.
Yeah, well, you know, we happen to disagree on this one point. The chamber came out very early and supported a wide range of taxes. In fact, all of the ones that came out of the governor's task force, with the one exception of gross receipts.
Okay, the governor's been talking about a sea change in the way that Nevadans are taxed and coming up with a more stable tax base. What's your view on that, and how do we get there?
Well, we recognize that that certainly needs to be done, but we think that the best way to do that is an expansion of the sales tax base, not only on the service side, but also we have one of the most narrow sales tax bases in the country. There's an inexorable shift in consumer spending from purchasers of goods to purchasers of services. The best type of tax reflects the economy that you have. We have a service-based economy, and we believe that such a tax can be structured where it gives tax relief on the product side, doesn't hit the regressive issues, doesn't hit maybe what you might say your everyday Jane or your everyday Joe, and really focuses on business-to-business services.
But Cara, didn't you once promised that you would come back with a business tax, and the governor's now saying you didn't do that?
Right, and I think it's just the way that you define it, and we believe there's a short-term issue and a long-term issue for the state. The short-term issue is we supported a doubling of the head tax. We supported the expansion of the head tax to sole proprietors. That brings in about another just under $100 million a year. All the Secretary of State corporate filing fees. In essence, it was about $400 million that we supported. And if I'll just give you some perspective, if you'll remember at the end of the last legislature, the projected deficit was $80 million a year. And so what I believe what we've done is way fulfilled that promise just on the short-term issue, but we've gone farther than that and come back and said, what if you want to look for the long-term stability, you can tax businesses through a sales tax on business services.
I grant you that a tax on services will bring in far more money than probably we need. But does that let some of the big businesses like banks off the hook from paying their fair share?
Well, I think it's a really good question, and one that we've grappled with with as well. The biggest targets right out there are banks and sort of big retailers. And how do we what the conversation I've heard is how do we get at them? And I don't honestly know the answer. Generally, the best way to do that is through a net income, and people like net income tax because it's seen as most fair. The problem with net income in Nevada is we have a constitutional prohibition on personal income tax. So a corporate income tax, a net income tax, would not get sole proprietors. It wouldn't get businesses that take their profit as income, like partnerships. There are so many types of corporations it wouldn't get, and it would further penalize publicly traded companies and those that must show a profit in order to grow or venture capital. And then all we'd end up is a further narrowing of the tax base.
Cara, this is all very interesting, and I don't disagree with a lot of things you're saying. but it seems to me that there is a war shaping up here between the Las Vegas Chamber and the gaming industry, because gaming is coming on this program every day and saying the gross receipts tax is alive and well and it's not going to go away.
Well, we'll know by June 2nd whether it's alive and well and will go away. You know, I don't believe that there's a war, and I'm certainly keep disagreeing with the media's tendency to try to create, I think, a war. The Las Vegas Chamber has many gaming members. We have agreed to disagree with this issue. The objections we've raised to gross receipts, I believe, are exceptionally valid. I think that they're meaningful. I think that we've raised some legitimate concerns, and we are making that case at the legislature. And then it will happen how it happens. I'm not certainly going to tell you today that gross receipts is dead. Nothing is dead in that building at the legislature until they close the doors.
We've heard that story. How does the Chamber stand on education?
Well, we actually believe that education needs to be the primary funding priority in this legislature. We have been trying to work as collaboratively as possible with both the Clark County School District and the Teachers Union, and I think that we've built a good basis for a relationship. You'll notice the Teachers Union isn't nearly as antagonistic with us, and neither are we with them. The real issue, though, is that I think where the difference comes down is what do you do with the money? And that's where there's difference in philosophies, difference in spending priorities. But we absolutely believe that education needs to be that funding priority.
Just quickly, last question. Do you agree more with the governor's expanded plans or with Lynn Hettrick's very limited plans?
I can't tell you that I agree more with either one. There are a lot of other plans out there as well. I know that Lynn earlier was talking about. There are some aspects of his plan that I like, or that the Chamber likes, but there's a lot of it's sort of a buffet right now. And as you well seasoned know, that kind of what comes out at the end is that sausage making process.
Good way to close the interview. Thank you so much for being here, Kara Kelly from the Las
you.
Vegas Chamber of Commerce. We'll be back on Nevada Newsmakers with the Pundits. We're going to ask Kara to stick around. We'll be back after this.
Before you head to Carson, take care of yourself with a visit to Tamarack Junction. Catch a hot cup of coffee and the morning news on one of our 32 TVs and enjoy the best food in South Reno. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
When he was just a young boy, Ken Dillon laid back, looked up at the stars, and thought to himself, hey, this house could use a roof. Today, Ken Dillon's D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal offers a complete line of elk roofing products for any type of residential roof. With an elk roof from D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal, what's overhead stays overhead. Call Ken Dillon's D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal today for a free estimate. Yes, the technology sure has changed, but after all these years, Ken still enjoys playing with houses.
We've loosened our machines. We've given you the Gold Dust West Gold Rush Club, Reno's best slot club. You can win lots of jackpots. Play longer. Your points will add up faster than you think. Yeah, we're loose and we're not screwing around. See you at the Gold Dust West, south on Keystone, east on 4th.
Folks, you must see what's new in Virginia City. Ride the V&T train all the way to Gold Hill. Explore a mine, if you dare. Visit Piper's Opera House. Watch the gunslingers shoot it up on C Street. Shop in unique stores. Listen to honky tonk in the historic saloons. You can't see it all in one day, so spend the night. Virginia City, where the West comes alive. Come up and spend the night in our hotels, motels, and RV parks.
Make your daily commute easy with breakfast or lunch at the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy daily specials, super fast service, and South Reno's freshest morning meals. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And time for the pundit panel. This is not Ande Engleman. This is Jim Denton and the rest of our pundit panel today. We've got Ande Barbano with the Daily Sparks Tribune, Martha Gould, and Alfredo Alonso. Let's start with you, Alfredo. We had Sheila Leslie on the other day, and she was talking about we're one of just 3 states that doesn't have a bond for mines to be, or mining companies to clean up their problems down the road. And why shouldn't we do that here in the Silver State?
Well, I think that that Assemblywoman Leslie's bill and her intent is good. Obviously, her intent is to prevent reclamation disasters and therefore obviously prevent the taxpayer from footing the bill. Problem with the bill is that we've got new regulations in place. Alan Biaggi has indicated that we have those protections in place right now. You take corporate guarantees away, you're left with cash, and I think that would be a very, very difficult endeavor for the mining companies to undertake under the circumstances.
The corporate guarantees don't mean anything if the corporation is bankrupt or leaves the country.
I agree.
That's true.
I agree, and that's why Nevada has one of the strictest financial requirements in the country. And so, in other words, we do not have a problem right now, and I don't foresee us having a problem because we have some good, strong companies.
We've got a heck of a problem right now. You can step in a hole just about anywhere out in rural Nevada and get killed because of unreclaimed mines.
But I think the point is that what the bill attempts to do is take one of those tools off the table, and I think that hurts everybody, including our
Well, I think
mining.
the bill is patterned very similar after what the federal government has done. The federal government has done essentially the same thing that Sheila's bill proposes in the assembly, and I think I predict that may pass. It may pass.
You think it may pass?
I think it may.
I disagree. I think what you're going to have is discussion over what mining is here in Nevada, and I think what you'll find is that our regulations are some of the tightest in the country. This is not necessary, and I think that ultimately the legislature will see the wisdom.
What mining is here in Nevada is a welfare queen.
And I have to agree with Ande on that, and we don't always agree, but I want to go back to something earlier you had on the program. Lynn, yes. And I have to tell you that I take real offense at his proposed tax cuts. They are tax cuts on the backs of children, women, families, and education. You know, he wants to reduce in half the textbook enhancement. How old are some of the textbooks the kids are using already? You know, if you think that education is expensive, I would suggest we try ignorance.
But you know what, Martha, I'll tell you, I have been an advocate on this program for a long time. I've said many times, many times, Andy, I've said that we need to fund education, that we've got kids coming into the system, we need to accommodate them. But you know, I'll tell you down at the legislature what the real concern among a lot of people is that this budget is so big, there's so much spending in this budget, that a lot of people just don't see the need for it.
Well,
they just
also,
honestly
Martha,
don't see the need for it.
And we have how many thousands of new kids coming into the school system this year?
The number's 27,000.
Please. I don't want to be a referee here, but I'd like to get a word in edgeways, all right?
That's what
Lynn
pundits are
also
for.
said that there was quite a gap between what they were planning to spend and how much revenue would be generated in his program, and so therefore if you needed to be able to put extra money into another place, you could move money around. It wasn't, this is all we're going to do. There was some flexibility to the budget, and that could be included.
Well, it's like I said in yesterday's program. I figured the bottom side is $600 million, the top side is the governor's, is $1 billion, and somewhere in the middle is the real number.
Right. I think Martha's correct in her concern over education. Obviously, that's everybody's concern right now. What I think you've got from the Republicans is a starting point. That is a beginning, and it's the beginning of the debate. I think that's what's most important.
I agree. I agree with that.
The bottom line, again, is that if you look at what Lynn talked about today, his program is zeroing in on cutting services to women, to children, basically to education. I mean, we have school libraries in this
he's
state
saying
that
he's
are
not
terrible.
cutting, he's just maintaining at the level it was before.
You can't maintain when you have another 27,000 kids coming in this year. What about next year? Look in Las Vegas where they're supposed to be building a school a month in order to accommodate all the kids. What about the children up here and the increase in the students? You can't maintain because
I think
educating when they get to prison.
I think Kara Kelly made a good point this morning when she talked about, not only the rate of growth in the state, but when you look at what the projected deficit was going out of the last legislative session, they projected a deficit of $80 million, and now we're looking at a $700 million deficit.
If you go back,
we're talking about real money here.
I think what this does is I like Hettrick's bill because what it does is it makes the governor's plan look better. I think I think the governor's plan.
The governor's plan
it
is in
asks-
serious trouble.
Well,
The governor's
I
plan is
disagree.
in serious
I disagree.
trouble.
I think for once you've got a broad-based business tax, something that is not in any other plan. I think it's the only one that's not a pass-through like the service.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you
Would Ms.
something.
Kelly endorse a business income tax which is fair to everyone?
Okay, let's ask Ms. Kelly. Kara, you want to respond to that?
About the business income tax?
Yeah.
But I think the problem that it was one that I outlined is you have a really difficult time on making that a broad-based tax in Nevada, and in terms of making sure that every business would be contributing because of our state constitutional ban on personal income taxes and how certain businesses are constructed.
The problem with the gross receipts tax ultimately is going to be is that it's going to have to hire a bunch of employees. It's going to cost $30 or $40 million to put together.
That's completely incorrect.
I'll give you the bill. The fact of the matter is,
sales tax increase would be much more expensive.
Read the bill.
Gentlemen, may I
That's in your
suggest
own
you
bill.
go back to something that was done in the mid-'80s. It was known as the Price Waterhouse study on the tax structure of the state of Nevada. Everything they said in that study, the chickens have come home to roost.
And on that note, we're going to go make some omelets. We'll be right back after this timeout.
If you're talking sushi, you're talking Sushi Club. Year after year voted the best place for sushi. 11 chefs on staff to serve you. Better ingredients for consistent high quality. And lots of room, so bring your friends. Sushi Club in the Independence Square Shopping Center.
Feel it, the magic is everywhere. The action, the style, the food, the flair. Play with us, stay with us in Reno, say El Dorado, and live the excitement. El Dorado, Reno shining star. Live the excitement.
CTX can help you negotiate your best deal. We've been your home team advantage for over a decade. Call us today because at CTX, local service still matters.
Yeah, with CTX, you're homeward bound.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, consistently voted Reno's best buffet by locals. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch.
Atlantis.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
What's coming up tomorrow?
Tomorrow it's going to be He Said, She Said from Guest Through Pundit panel. You won't want to miss it.
We'll see you then.